Hey guys, this is Cody and Abby from Student Development again, and we are here today to talk to you about the part 2 of the stress management survey that we took. So a couple weeks ago, we sent out a stress management survey, and we got a lot of feedback from you guys about what was stressing you out. We took those results and we kind of broke those down into a few different categories, and we have a kind of a 3-week series that we're going to be doing. So this week is week 2, balancing school, work, and home. And we're going to really kind of hone in on why this is important because finals is coming up. So more than likely you will have finals next week, at least some, and that they may extend a little bit past that. Not 100% sure what your faculty member is doing, but we want to kind of help get you prepared for that. So let's, excuse me. So let's start out by talking about something we talk about a lot, and that's prioritizing tasks. Whenever we first started with this pandemic, I was working from home and I had a bunch of things that I thought needed to get done. And every day at the end of the day, I would sit and I would think, what did I get done today? And there may be one thing that was on that list. And so I'm not really a list person. I don't like lists. But I realized really quickly, I've got to get the things that I want done on paper. And I need to write these down. I need to plan out when I'm going to do them, how long it's going to take to get each one done. And I may plan too much time for some, I may not plan enough for others, but I can adjust that. And then I need to carry those things out, because what was happening was I was going through the days, I was dealing with, I sometimes call it like the fires that just pop up in your day-to-day work life or home life or whatever. And then I wasn't getting the things done that I needed to get done. But once I started prioritizing those things, writing down those things, that made a big difference. So writing down what you need to get done, sitting down and making a list of things to get done. And usually I encourage students to, say, how long do you think this is going to take? Is this going to take 30 minutes? Is this going to take 2 hours? Because when you're planning out the things you need to do, it's going to be good for you to, have that in mind when you check those off. And then once you're able to get those done, unlike me, where it was like, man, I'm only getting one thing done a day, if that. I'm not getting much done. I don't feel very productive. I'm in a struggle with this. I now can look at that list and I can say, oh, wow, I accomplished 3 out of 5 things yesterday. And then I just roll that list into my next list. So I really feel like, a lot of times me and Abby talk about a lot of the things that we say, we kind of, sometimes we say over and over. But studying in a pandemic and preparing in a pandemic isn't that much different than preparing in just for regular finals, in that you have to do the basics. You have to do your job as a student. Now, that doesn't mean that the setting and how things have changed and how the pandemic is influencing the situation doesn't make doing those things harder, but it's still doing your job. If we use sports as an analogy, if the weather is perfect, you're going to have an easier time doing your job in the position that you're playing. If you're playing football and it's an outdoor arena and the sun is shining and, it feels good, you're going to have a better time playing that position. But in a playoff game and it's snowing, you still have to do your job, even though it's harder to do your job. So that's kind of what I really want to hone in on with prioritizing tasks. Now more than ever, it's important to, as a student, do your job of prioritizing what you need to get done, making time for it. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is important. Abby, did you have anything you wanted to add on prioritizing tasks?
No, I think you covered it all. I mean, an important part of being able to organize all the things that you need to get done.
Okay.
But I'll go into the next part where we're going to talk about setting up our schedules and routines for others in the home. So not only is it useful for you to have a routine, obviously for yourself, and to get all the things you need to get accomplished, but it helps to have a routine for others in the home, especially if you have kids that are, doing AMI homework, or, they get restless and they need their break. So to schedule all those things for yourself and your family or others in the home, it takes a little bit of effort on the front end, but if you maybe sit down on a Sunday and organize your week and just plan out what all everybody needs to get done, what you need to get done, and how you're going to fit that into your schedule. Also, scheduling breaks for yourself is very important as far as making sure you get that self care time in, that time to decompress. That way, you can pick up the next task that you need to complete and be successful at doing that. Also, we know when you're at home, you're doing household chores, especially if you're the mom of the house or the primary caregiver, you've got other things you need to do around the house. Those things are important, but we want to be able to delegate when and how we're going to accomplish those tasks as well.
The only thing that I would add to that, Abby, is um, one of the things, and again, this is my experience. I'm not sure if it's yours, and I think I'm hearing this a lot from students too. Is that they feel like they're kind of on a sinking ship with this. And so one of the things that I would encourage any student to do, and I know if you have little kids, that's going to be harder to communicate, but it's going to be important to share if you are not sharing with your spouse, with your roommates, with your kids, whoever that you're living with in this pandemic. I've got very important things that I have to work on, that I have to do, and kind of make them a partner with that in your schedule. So exactly what you were talking about. One of the things, I'm lucky that right now I have two. I have one college age student, I have one teenager who they kind of make their own schedule. They kind of do their own thing. I don't really have to do anything for that. But one of the things that was happening, especially when I was at home and my wife is at home, is they would just burst in to like a random meeting to ask a question or something like that. And so we had to make it very aware. Here are the times we're in meetings and we cannot be disturbed. Text message me before you come into the room to make sure that I can talk, because they don't just call me at work. They're polite, they're courteous. So adapting to that home life with their schedules, I think was important. So I think those are great tips. And last, and this kind of can tie back into the prioritizing tasks, you need to make a weekly plan on a calendar. Pull out what you're going to do. Look at for each class that you have, what do I need to get done this week? Okay, so in my psychology class, I've got a quiz I have to do, I've got a discussion board I have to do, and I've got a paper I have to do. In my English class, I have this, this, this. And you need all of that laid out. You need to know when it's due. And then you need to say, okay, on Monday, I'm going to knock out this, this, this. On Tuesday, and so what you do is you make that daily checklist or to-do list. Again, you prioritize what's going to be done that week for each day. You may not get everything done that you schedule, and that's okay. We move it to the next day, and then we do our best the next day. But it's going to be really important for you to do this. Last night at 9:30, I walked into my 20-year-old's room, and what was she doing? Sitting at her desk, she was making out her weekly to-do list. It takes her probably 2 hours to do it because she uses 47 colors, and it's pretty and it's cute and there's little drawings on it. But if that helps her be successful, I tell her, hey, do it. Use 47 colors, draw hearts and stars and things like that, because she likes for things to look, a certain way. But that helps her buy into that week and what she's going to get done. And she went from being a student who, was struggling at first in the pandemic, now to using these tools and these tips that me and my wife have helped her with. To she finished one class early. She turned in her final exam last night because she is so scheduled with herself. So controlling what you can is important. And you can control a list. You can make a list and you can work on it. I'm not saying you're going to get it all done. I'm not saying in one day, in 1 week, but you can work on that, and that can help organize you. So take some of the stress out of studying, get it out of your head, and get it on paper. Okay. Well, guys, that's what we have for you today. Next week, is probably going to be finals week for you guys, and we are going to talk about just self-care that you guys can do during that stressful time. And I know everybody right now is just grinding, trying to get done, wanting to get done, and hopefully we're gonna see this pandemic end sooner than later. But these tips for self-care will also take you out of finals week. And once you aren't distracted anymore by schoolwork, and you can start working on yourself this summer, taking care of yourself and all that. Abby, you have anything else you want to add today?
No, I think that's about it. I hope everyone has a great week and get that stuff scheduled.
Absolutely. So, guys, this week, again, we're going to be doing student chats. Check your email for that. We're going to be focusing on finals prep. So, if you guys have any final specific questions, bring those there. We're going to be sending that out from the student development email section. If you need anything in between now, the chats or whatever, email us studentdevelopment@uaccm.edu. All right. You guys have a good day. Good luck studying for finals.